welcome back to the Deep Dive. You know, when you look at almost any piece of health tech today, your watch, your phone, it's all obsessed with the snapshot, right?
The here and now.
Exactly. It's all about, your step count for today, the intensity minutes from your run, what your resting heart rate was last night. It's health measured as a series of moments.
Peak moments, usually.
Peak moments, yes. But looking through this stack of sources you sent over, it really forces a tougher question. Okay, let's unpack this.
Right.
Are those daily snapshots actually missing the real story? The underlying story about our well-being?
Well, that's the whole mission of this deep dive. The sources we're looking at, which are mostly centered on the thinking behind this tool called FinchQ, they suggest that, yes, we are missing the story.
We're focused on the wrong thing.
We're focused on the things that are easy to see, things that spike high output, a tough workout, they're very visible. But the sources argue that the true measure is something they call health durability.
Durability. I like that word. It's not about performance, it's about structure.
It's the sustained strength of your systems under pressure, day in and day out. The ordinary days.
Which brings us to what I think is the real core question in all this material. It's quieter, but it's so much more consequential. How well does the body actually hold up over time?
Right.
And that completely shifts the focus, doesn't it? We stop celebrating a temporary high score and we start looking for something much more valuable. Durability.
And that's where we run right into the limitations of what you called moment-based metrics. They just operate in a vacuum.
A vacuum. How so?
They assume that if you hit your goal today, you're healthy, period. But that metric can't capture the physiological cost of real life. And real life is messy. It's cumulative.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about how these apps coach you. They give you a high five for a great HRV score on a Sunday morning, after you've had 8 hours of sleep, no work stress.
It's a laboratory condition.
It is. It's this clean, perfect view of health that just isn't realistic for anyone I know.
Precisely. And the sources are very clear on this. Your health isn't really tested in those neat, controlled bursts of activity.
So where is it tested?
It's tested in the cumulative exposure to low-grade, constant stress. It's not the 45-minute run you planned. It's everything else.
And sources, they really break this down, don't they? They talk about the demands of just an average week, back-to-back late nights on a project, money worries, just the mental load of running a household. Or maybe you're running on 5 hours of sleep because a kid was sick.
Or travel. The sources mention travel a lot. They call all of this the cumulative weight of routine, and that's a critical idea.
The weight of routine, not the weight of crisis.
Exactly. We think of stress as a big event, the big presentation, the argument,
Yeah.
but most of the damage physiologically comes from that constant background noise.
So like a couple of missed workouts, then a few nights of bad sleep, and maybe you've got the sniffles on top of it.
Right. And your snapshot metric might show you still got 10,000 steps yesterday. Great. But it completely misses the systemic strain that put on your body's ability to just stay level.
That reframes everything, because what matters isn't how you perform on your absolute best day when everything is perfect.
No.
It's how steadily you function across all the other days, the messy, ordinary ones.
And if your best days are getting better, but your average days are feeling harder and harder, that's a durability problem hiding in plain sight.
Which leads us right to how this material defines resilience. And it's a lot more technical than just bouncing back.
It is. Resilience in this physiological context is the body's capacity to do 3 specific things over time. First, to maintain its usual patterns.
It's baseline.
It's baseline, yes.
Yeah.
Second, to absorb everyday stressors without a huge internal overreaction. And third, to return to that baseline quickly and reliably afterward.
And to do that consistently over weeks and months.
Consistently. That's the key. What's fascinating here is resilience is not about pushing harder. It is about staying balanced as conditions change.
It's an efficient shock absorber.
A highly efficient one.
What?
It's less interested in how you survive one massive crisis and much more interested in how you handle the constant low-level turbulence of daily life without getting worn down.
Okay, so let's make that concrete. How does that actually show up? These are subtle things, right?
Very subtle. It's not about collapsing from exhaustion. It might be that familiar activities, they just start to feel more demanding.
Right.
Like the effort required has gone up, even if the task is the same.
Or recovery. That's a big one.
A huge one. Resilient recovery feels smooth. You don't feel like you're dragging an anchor for 2 days after a busy weekend. And your deep physiological rhythms, your sleep stages, your morning heart rate, they stay pretty steady, even when life is chaotic.
And that's what the snapshot misses.
Completely. The sources have this great example. Someone can look totally fine, they do their usual bike ride, they get their work done, no red flags on their daily dashboard.
But
Underneath, their resilience is eroding. The body's having to work much harder, diverting more resources, pumping out more cortisol, just to keep up that appearance of normal.
so they feel it, even if the numbers don't show it.
They feel more drained by small things, or their heart rate variability takes way longer to stabilize after a stressful day, even if they got enough sleep. The body is coping, sure, but the cost of coping is getting higher and higher.
And that hidden cost, that's the aha moment in these sources. They call it gradual drift.
Gradual drift, yes.
It's not a sudden event. It's this quiet, slow accumulation of negative changes. You almost don't notice it because you just adapt to a new, slightly worse normal every week.
And that is the danger. By the time you actually notice it, hey, I seem to be getting sick more often, or my mood is just always a bit lower, it's already become a much bigger problem.
One that's harder to reverse.
That's right. Because the body is incredible at compensating. It will use every tool it has to mask the underlying strain until those compensation systems themselves get exhausted.
So a moment-based metric actually rewards the compensation.
It celebrates it. If you only look at today's score, you don't see the silent exhaustion that's been building for 3 months, slowly dragging your baseline down.
And that's the specific problem a tool like FinchQ is designed to solve, to make that slow, meaningful drift visible.
Not to alarm you, just to inform, to show you which way the current is flowing, so to speak.
You know, this brings up a really crucial distinction the sources make between resilience and adaptability. People use them interchangeably, but they're not the same thing.
Not at all. They work together, but they measure different things.
So adaptability is what? The in-the-moment response.
Exactly. Adaptability is how your body responds right now. Say you have to pull a late night to hit a deadline. Your body adapts. It floods your system with cortisol and adrenaline to keep you sharp. That's great adaptability.
But there's a price.
But the sources say it pays for it later. Adaptability is like using a credit card. The payment comes later as fatigue or disrupted sleep. Maybe your deep sleep is shot for the next 2 nights.
You got through the moment, but you drained the tank.
You depleted your reserves. So resilience, on the other hand, that's the long-term bank account. It reflects how those adaptations add up over time.
So the sources are less interested in whether you can pull one all-nighter.
Much less. They're far more interested in whether you can handle repeated demands week after week and still bounce back to your baseline quickly.
Coping repeatedly without being worn down.
That's resilience. And that distinction matters more and more as you age or as your life gets more complex. High adaptability without resilience, that leads directly to burnout, to that gradual drift.
Okay, so if resilience is this key metric, this subtle cumulative thing, how on earth do you measure it?
Well, the method they describe is actually refreshingly passive. It's not a test you have to perform.
So you don't have to, like, go to a lab or do a stress test?
No, nothing like that. It relies entirely on data that's already being collected by a wearable device while you just go about your normal life.
Which is a huge contrast to self-reporting, which can be so subjective. How stressed do you feel? I don't know, a 6, a 7. This is objective data from the background of your life.
It's about capturing the body's true signature. It measures patterns, not performances. The system doesn't really care about your HRV score today. It's looking at the data across days and weeks.
And what patterns is it looking for?
It's observing 2 main things. First, how steady or variable are your key markers, like overnight resting heart rate and morning HRV over, say, a 2-week window?
So not the number itself, but the consistency of the number.
Precisely. If those numbers are all over the place, even if the average seems fine, it suggests your nervous system is struggling to find a stable equilibrium. It's constantly reacting.
I see. It's looking for that reliable reset every night. And what's the second thing?
The second is how efficiently your body settles after a disruption. So after a night of bad sleep or a long flight, how many days does it take for your heart rate and HRV patterns to return to your established baseline?
The faster the return, the higher the resilience.
You've got it. The whole goal is to see how the body behaves when it's not being watched, to see what life is actually asking of it and what the real long-term response is.
And all of that, the steadiness, the variability, the recovery time that gets summarized into the FinchQ score.
It's an index, really, a single picture of those patterns, reflecting your current state of durability.
Now, this brings us to a really important point the sources make about what this score is not. And I think this is critical.
Absolutely. It is not a clinical diagnosis. It is not a fitness grade to make you feel like you're winning or losing. And it absolutely does not predict medical events.
Its purpose is just Awareness.
Purely awareness.
And I think that shift from pressure to awareness is maybe the most powerful part of this whole idea. It moves you away from chasing daily highs. That feeling that if you miss a workout, the day's a failure. It encourages a calmer, more realistic view of your health.
It relieves that pressure for perfection. You can have an off day, you can have a few, that's normal. Resilience is measured over the long haul. The real benefit is recognizing that an occasional dip is fine, but as the sources say, persistent drift deserves notice.
That's the thing it's designed to catch.
That's the quiet problem. It's designed to help you see, maybe before you can even feel it consistently.
So it's motivating you with insight, not with a leaderboard.
Exactly. If we connect this to the bigger picture, this is about helping people move past the anxiety of chasing a daily number. It's to help you notice these changes earlier and better understand how your body is actually coping with, all the demands of your life.
The goal is long-term well-being, not short-term achievement.
Sustainable health span, not just fleeting fitness peaks.
So wrapping this up, what's the core takeaway here for you, the listener? I think it's pretty clear. Your health is ultimately shaped by durability, by your recovery, by that steadiness over time, not by the peak moments we tend to obsess over.
It's about managing the average day well, not just acing the perfect one. And maybe a final thought to leave you with based on all this material. If resilience is really about the consistency of returning to your baseline after stress, how could you intentionally structure your week to support that?
Not just your workout schedule, your whole week.
Your whole week. Look beyond the big, obvious stresses and start to observe your own gradual drift. Where in your routine life are you consistently paying that hidden cost of adaptability?
That is a great question to reflect on, because that hidden cost is usually the most expensive one. Thank you for walking us through this research. This has been a fascinating deep dive.
My pleasure. It's a powerful shift in perspective.